go and tell your brother to come here to do is that we have a story to tell. We are tired of people telling our story.
Right. Their story.
We must tell our story, but also live our story.
Right.
We must not learn history. We must be able to live and make history. And that is what our children and children's children are going to learn. Marcus Garvin and others did their best.
Right.
But your grandchildren tomorrow will be happy seeing you also making history. And you know what you do to them? You boost their confidence. You help them to also be prepared, be proud, be ambitious to also make history. We are making history now. Let's make it forceful. Let our footprints in the tides of time become so indelible that even the blind man, if he's not able to see it, it will be so pronounced that he will feel it. Let's make history. Don't just go back and probably say, oh, when I went to the falls and I was happy and I did this and that. You know what? There will come to a time where a generation will come that will crash down all these faults because they are not ready to be listening to the pain of history again. They want to live the future of hope. They want to see an Africa where in place of slave castles we have healing spots where people will come from the world to come and heal not only their diseases but their broken hearts.
Dude.
That they will have a hope of a better future, not only being said but being lived. I'm so sorry about a lot of things happening in Africa now because we are not living as we are. Let's eat our food, take our own medicines, and prepare our own future. You see a few things here. A lot of people know, oh, Dr. Asare has more than 200 formulas. But why doesn't he bring all of them here? I didn't come to sell. I came to fraternize with my brothers and to give you the fact that there are people that you can come together with. And the last thing about health that I will tell you about. My brother told you about it already, but let me tell you. We have to have the health of love. I always tell people that if you want true love, you become vulnerable. You become really vulnerable. You know why? Because there is no true love without a risk. You know why we formed the Council of Elders here? We said, oh, when some of our brethren come, they stray into wrong hands, and when they want to do investments, then people try to rip them off and this. We are stopping this there. But let me tell you, the same thing is also happening in America. Sure. I know a lot of brethren who also want to meet up with brothers in America and they rip them off. So what is the problem of the black man? It isn't like it's one place, everywhere. I trusted a brother in Louisiana and he ripped him off $13,000 last year. Nobody knows of that. But you know why I say true love means you must be able to take a risk? I don't care about that one. We must have a vision and an ambition. You see, when you are lost of vision, you become clueless as to what decisions to take for the future. And you are so much stuck in your losses rather than in the gains of your vision. Let's move forward. We must hear stories about this negative here and this negative here, but I can assure you that the positives are more than the negatives.
Yes, absolutely.
Some of us have got our fingers bent somewhere, fine, but we also know brothers we can trust.
Right.
Both here and over there across the sea. Let's keep the vision. Let's encourage others to come on board. Let's fraternize in business. Why are they having a lot of Asian multinational companies, Eurasian multinational companies? How many black multinational companies do we have?
We will create them.
There are a lot of people still in America having problem about prostrate. Right?
Yes.
And we have this pure hips helping a lot of people over here. Why don't you come, Dr. Asare? Can we get into partnership with this? Can I get a trial to do it? If it works, can I make a business out of it? You are welcome.
Great.
It's better than going to get some ginseng from China. And I know. No, let me take the one Bomani knows about, the titbit.
Which one?
The titbit.
Oh, the titbit. Tell us about that one.
You know, but I is smiling. Look, you know some African men can have about 2 or 3 wives, right?
Right.
And they can service all of them correctly, right?
Right.
So what was the secret? You see, trying to fight against sexual exhaustion and being manly has nothing to do with promiscuity. Let's get that behind our mind.
Right. Say that again.
People always feel, oh, so you're giving all this to the men, do you want them to be promiscuous? Then my question is that, do you also want your man to be like a ripe banana? Will you enjoy that marriage?
That's a good one.
Let's be honest, let's stop pretending.
Absolutely.
But you know what? You get a lot of these formulas from the East. I'm telling you, we live in Africa. We know the best formulas. This tidbit has come from an ancient formula of our old people, and it's not only a male formula, but also a brain formula. How many of you know that our sex organs have a direct contact with our brain? Now, when we have chiefs put in the room for 40 days in Africa before they come out to be outdoors, a lot of people always say, oh, when this guy was being put into the ritual for the 40 days, he wasn't looking like this. He's now looking, his skin is looking shiny. And these are the herbs that have been used. So it's not only a male formula, it also broadens your brains and gives you alertness and everything. But those formulas from the Eastern countries that you have been taking are not like this. African formulas are very unique and different. Now, we have another formula here called, let me go to this one. It's called a vision optic. You ask yourself, why is it that when you go to our villages, you see a lot of older people still threading a needle, sometimes with black thread in the night. And then when you come to the cities, people have to read with spectacles. Do you know how I call spectacles? They are eye crutches. It's like you have a broken leg and they give you a crutch. You need to repair in the first place the damage that is there, and don't have to rely on the eye crutches. There are a lot of herbs our people take. My grandmother was threading needles at 93. She had the most beautiful teeth I've ever had. We affectionately call her Mayu. Mayu had beautiful teeth. Well, because of what they ate. And above all, for those of you going back, and who would like a few things, who would like to combine with us, we have so many formulas for so many things. Now let me talk about these two last things. The blood purifier. This is the, I call it the most cholesterol lowering tea ever. And it's one of the things our people call here dido. It's a prophylactic that you cook, and we have made it into a very nice form that they put in the pots. You took a shot in the morning before you went to farm. And last but not the least, we have this called the long life formula. Now, there are a lot of our brethren who have come here, and you can see Brother Dahveed. Some of them come here and their aging process is automatically reduced, as if they stop aging. Is the food that they eat. At the end of the day, your internal organs, especially your liver, can determine how fast you age and how quickly you die. You need a continuous overhaul of the system. But for these things to be made available, because we know, no matter how we preach, everybody is not going to come and settle here, nor everybody will be willing to settle here, or will have the developed consciousness enough and the bravery to be able to settle here. Some of our brethren will still be there, but we can still help them. The only way we can help them is by coming together. Those of you who are seriously involved in health business, we can come together. We can give you a lot of these herbs, and you can spread it over there, so that even over there they can be living well, and they can get to show the people example that I used to take all these pills. After I started taking these herbs from Africa, this is how I look like. And it's another form of your great identity. But the best of it all, I will say, is that let's try as much as possible to be in a state of mind to learn. One of the greatest things that have been done to us is that we have been separated by belief. And that belief has been based on development of a negative attitude towards ourselves. Those on the continent, and that's how I'm going to end it all. Those on the continent who have not developed the Pan-Africanist mind to a certain level. I know some brothers from Ghana who go to the Americas and say, they say these are black brothers, they are so difficult to live with. I better live with a white guy. Some of you have heard it, right? And then I know all our brothers and sisters who also come here who be like, well, let's be suspicious of these people. But you know, if you are made to be suspicious of the very people who look like you, you are finished. No, with all that any black person might have done to me in America or here, I still will better go with my own. Because once you develop that attitude of I won't trust my brother again, you finish. You will not trust yourself. So to end it all, you are here for investment, and I tell you, if you can convert this tea into a tea bag, I even have one that I didn't bring. I'm normally not too much interested in. I have one called the African green tea. He knows of it. It's like a wine. I have another package that we call the chocolate for men, right? The cocoa. We have a lot of formulas, more than 200 of them. If you can get us together to make an investment into that, we can make this into tea bags, whatever you want to make of it over there, and you can make good money, and also have the pride that I'm making this money when I went back home. Africa, that I was thrown off, has now made me into a millionaire. You took my parents like slaves. I'm coming back as a king, and now I'm a millionaire. Thank you.
I mean, that's a great investment, you know, to learn about the herbs of Africa, to learn how we can share these with our brothers and sisters in the state who need it the most. I mean, what a great conference, Bumani, to come up with a concept like that. I mean, I have to put you up there with Einstein, above Einstein. You understand? Because most of our people bring people to Africa, they don't even consider this. This is Bumani's creation. Let's give Bumani a round of applause. We're just assisting his dream. We're connecting the dream. I remember reading a book by Barry Gordy that brought on Michael Jackson and all those people, Smokey Robinson. You know, if it wasn't for Barry Gordy, there wouldn't be no Michael Jackson or Marvin Gaye or Diana Ross. But because Barry had a dream and Barry had ideas, all of those dreams came together. They connected the dream. So this is what we're doing. We're connecting the dream. So let the dream continue. Let us make it happen. Don't believe that it can't happen. It can happen. Google started. Google, this IT company, was started by a young Russian American and a brother out in California. They got together and they put together Google. Google is a word that means a big number, a big number. And they just came together with an idea. And they just started gathering data, a room about this size, and just started stacking data on top of each other. You know, data. And then we just sent them out data, you know, and they just keep adding the data up, and then they just brought in more machines. And it's just an idea. They got together and they got some people to invest. So don't be afraid to put up 500. He said he lost 13,000 in America. In my book, I always tell people, I said, look, in Africa, you may lose here or there. But don't forget, you lost your 40 acres and your mule in America. There's nothing wrong with what you call, I call it, blessing in disguise. I have land in 3 different areas in Ghana. Fortunately, 2 is okay. 1 is a little litigation, but it's okay because there's a saying, 1 good horse can pull you out of anything. I'm basically richer than Bill Gates because I have a future, he don't. Okay? He'll soon be a dead man if he don't change and start helping instead of using this money to hurt people. That's right, I said it. I said it on camera. Okay? Because I believe he got his hands in the Ebola stuff. Okay? Because he got his hands inside the UN, I'm sorry, with the World Health Organization. Bill Gates is pushing that Ebola. I said it. Sure. That's right, I said it. I believe Bill Gates is using his billions with the eugenics to kill black people. So let us use our minds to counter that by getting